Welcome back to Hops and Hay and Cattle. My name's Levi, and today I'm going to be doing the part 2 review on our Kubota M6-131. This here is going to be an in the cab review. This will be a review of the inside of the cab, and if y'all haven't seen part 1, you can go check it out. I did it about a week ago. But go check that video out for a review on the outside of the tractor. So let's get started. So we'll start right here on the dash. The steering wheel on this tractor is tilt. I'm going to grab his handle here, and you can tilt the steering wheel down, just like that. And if you want to telescope the steering wheel, you can push that handle down, and you can slide the steering wheel down, or you can pull it out like that, and then you just lock it back up. We leave it all the way out, but you can, if you want to, you can put it in or however you like it, wherever it's most comfortable for you. Right here is your forward and reverse. It's power shuttle, so you can shift it from forward to reverse without using the clutch. Right here is your windshield wipers. Right here is for your front window, and then this is for your back window. Right here is your four-wheel drive. If you push it to here, that's auto four-wheel drive, and in there it locks it in four-wheel drive. I'm going to turn the key on, and you can see there's some lights that come on the dash. So as you can see, when I push this button, there's a light that comes on the dash. And then when I push it in the other way, there's just a green light that comes on. And that means it's locked in four-wheel drive. When you put it in auto four-wheel drive, when the tractor detects the rear wheel slipping, it'll engage the front tires to pull too. Right here locks your front tires. That's your differential lock for your front end. You just push it and it clicks, and then if the tractor's on, there's a light that comes on. And then there's a pedal right here for your rear differential to lock them in. You just take your foot and push it. This right here is the switch for bi-speed turn. I'll show y'all what that is here in just a little bit. What it does is it speeds the front tires up when you turning. It speeds the front tires up and helps you turn sharper. These buttons right here control the dash. This one and this one. Right here is your blinker. There's your left blinker, right blinker, like a vehicle. And these cancel too. They're like vehicles will. Right here is your light switch. You just roll this just like that. That's your low beam and that's your high beam. Right here is buttons for the DEF system. So this button here, you can cancel a regen. So when the tractor needs to regen, there'll be a light that comes on the dash. And if you're in an environment where you don't want it to regen, like in a hay barn or something, you can press this button here and it'll cancel it. And it won't allow it to regen. You can only do that for, I think it's 3 times. And if you cancel it more than 3 times, it will require for a parked regen, which means you have to let the tractor regen while it's parked. This button here turns on the parked regen, so if you're doing something in the tractor, or say you're sitting still with the tractor idle down and it wants to regen, you can press that button right there and it will do a parked regen. It's supposed to take over and it'll rev the tractor up itself and do the regen, and then it'll idle itself back down. But I've pressed that before and it never did do anything. I don't know. Some people say that they're delayed. Like, it may take them 4 or 5 minutes before that starts working, but when that don't work, I normally just rev the tractor up. The tractor's got to be running 1800 RPMs in order for it to regen, so I'll just rev it up to 1800 RPM and leave it there. And if I want to go on, if I'm doing something, I'll go on and do that. Just keep going, just not idle the tractor down and let it regen. If you're, say you're running a PTO or something and it wants to regen, if the tractor's running above 1800 RPM, it will just start regenning. Because there'll be a light that comes on that's telling you it's regenning. And if you're not running the 1800 RPM, there'll be a light that comes on, and then an RPM light will come on telling you that you need to rev the tractor up. And when you rev it up to 1800 RPM, then the DEF light, the regen light, will be flashing. And then whenever that light turns solid and don't flash anymore, that means the tractor is regenning. I have been cutting hay before and got through cutting a field, and I didn't notice the regen light on it. And when I idled the tractor down, I saw it. Well, I revved it back up, but that didn't do anything. And what happened was the tractor died. It just idled plumb down and then just plumb shut off. And the dealer, when it happened twice. And first time we called the dealer because we didn't know what was wrong with it. And they said they was going to send somebody out to hook a computer up to it and reset it in order for it to crank back up. Because when it died, it would not crank. It would just turn over and turn over. Well, and then the second time, the guy come out to fix it, and when he got in here, it cranked back up, and it had sat there for about 2 hours. And they told us that it wouldn't crank unless they hooked a computer to it, so we didn't try to crank it anymore after that. Well, he come out, got in the tractor, and it fired right up. Well, he hooked his computer to it and did something on the computer. And then I went on and I cut hay for about 3 or 4 more hours with it. And then that's the second time it happened. We just let the tractor sit there for about an hour and a half and come back, got in it, it fired right up and went on cutting hay. And it's not happened anymore. I've paid closer attention to making sure that light's not on whenever I idle it down. But that second time, we just let the tractor cool off, and then it fired right back up. And as soon as it cranked, it wanted to regen, so I revved it up to where it could regen. Anyway, now we'll move on around to here. We do have a steering knob on this tractor. We got this from the place we bought the tractor from. These steering knobs are nice when you're in the hayfield and steering a lot. I really do like steering knobs. You can get them at Tractor Supply. They just don't have the Kubota emblem on them. They just have a black cap on it right here. And I'm sure you can get New Holland ones with New Holland on them or whatnot. But right here is your loader joystick. Just like any other loader joystick. You got your up, your down, out, and back. This tractor don't have third function on it. With what we would need a third function for would be a square bell grapple or a grapple for brush. Well, we didn't figure we'd ever need to use it on this tractor, so we didn't get a third function put on it. Right here is your range shifter. It's got a low, medium, and high, and it's got 8 gears in each range. This tractor does have a 24-speed power shift transmission, and what I mean by power shift is in order to shift gears, you just press this button right here, or you press this button right here. This will shift up, this will shift down. And there's also transmission buttons right here, power shift buttons. You got your up and your down here. This is where we always shift it. I mean, every once in a while we'll shift it up here. But normally when we're riding the tractor, we have our arm on this armrest anyway. And you just see there, your hand lays flat on it like that. And you can just shift gears just like that. I really do love this power shift transmission. Right here is your PTO switch. You just have to push it down and turn it. And then it pops back up and stays over. And then to cut it off, you just push it down. This right here, this is a dash that controls some settings on it. I can show y'all it in a minute. It's I don't know everything about it, but I know some stuff about it. This right here is your 3 rear remotes, and all 3 of these do have float. Or no, sorry. This one's got float, and this one has float. This one here is self-canceling. So meaning when you push it forward, when you implement whatever you got hooked to it, gets all the way down and pressures up, it'll cut itself off. We normally don't use that one very much because we always run our hay cutters in float and we run our round baler in float, the pickup and the baler door. And I've mentioned it before, but our Kubota baler, you do run it in float, so you can pull your lever back like this and raise the baler door up, and then you lock it in float and it closes, the door will close itself and latch, and you can just leave it in float. Right here is some different dials and stuff for settings. Like this one right here will control the height of your 3-point. You can control that to how high you want to lift it up. This right here will control the speed of your 3-point. This here is for your transmission, auto sensitivity transmission, where it shifts up and down. You can adjust the sensitivity on it. This right here is a rev limiter, so you can turn this to wherever you want to, and that won't allow the tractor to run over that set RPM. This right here is for one of your auto buttons right here for your transmission. And this one here, I believe, is your draft control. I believe this right here will control your draft control. This right here is an RPM lock button. So you rev the tractor up to a PTO RPM. And you can lock that button down. And it won't let the tractor lug, which this big tractor, it don't lug hardly any anyway. But you can lock that and helps hold your RPM in a certain place. This right here is for your auto transmission. That's in road mode, and then this is in field mode. I've never used the field mode. I have used the road mode before, and I don't really like how it's designed on this tractor. The way it's designed on this tractor, it only allows it to shift 3 gears, rather than being able to put it in that mode and say you take off in first high, rather than shifting it out all the way to 8th gear, or whatever your RPM are that you want it to shift up to. It won't do that. It'll only shift 3 gears. I wish it would shift all 8 gears per range, but I don't hardly ever use it because it'll only shift 3. I usually just shift it myself. This right here is a downhill control button. And then these here are your light switches. That's your rear work lights, and then that's your front lights on your cab, and then 2 of the lights on the hood. And it's got some more banks here that you can put plugs for whatever you might want to add to it, more lights or whatever. You can get a front suspension added on these tractors, and I know one of them switches is right here. We'll move over here to the armrest. This right here is your 3-point raise and lower. I like it right here on the armrest. It's easy to access, and I really do like how this armrest is laid out, where you can work it here with your hand. This here will turn this deal we'll adjust that deal right there, as you can see. How that little silver deal sliding up to stop your 3-point, but I don't ever use it. Right here's your throttle. You just like any other throttle, except this one is electronic, so it's really easy to work. This here is automatic RPM buttons. You can preset these to whatever you want to. You've got an A and a B. We've got A set for 2,000 RPM, which is what the tractor has to run the PTO at 540 to run a hay cutter. And then we've got B preset for 1,800 RPM, which is what we usually run it whenever we're pulling the round baler, because we don't run our round baler a full 540 RPM. So we've got A preset for cutting hay and B preset for baling hay. In order for these to work, you do have to push the throttle up just a little bit. Like, you don't even have to push it up to 1,000 RPM, just away from the home position in order for them to work. These right here are 3-point raise and lower buttons, so you can set this here as low as you want it to go. Like if you're cutting hay, and I do use this, you can set it down to wherever you want it. And then you can set this here to where however high you want it to pick it up. And say you don't want it to pick the hay cutter all the way up whenever you pick it up. You can set it for halfway or wherever you want it. And then you just press this button and the hay cutter will raise up. Or your 3-point will raise up to whatever you have that knob set at. And then when you push this one back down, it'll go to whatever you have this set at. I really do like that for cutting hay. This right here is a car charger or cigarette lighter plug. We use it to charge our phone and stuff. And then right here is a plug for a monitor. Like, that's what style of plug is on our round baler for our monitor. So we plug our baler in right there. And then right here is your air conditioner controls. Of course, you got your cold all the way to the left, and then your heat's all the way to the right. That's your circulation button. And then here's your different adjustments for the defrost or blowing on your face or wherever you want it. Right here's your AC button, and then there's your fan speed. You got off and then 1 through 4. The air vents on this tractor are around the dash, as you can see here. There's 3 on each side, and these vents, I like the vents being in the dash because it keeps your whole body cold or cool. It's not just your head. And with those being down here, there's not any, I don't think there's hardly any air conditioner stuff up in the cab. There might be, but I don't believe there is. This tractor does have a sunroof for doing loader work. Say you're stacking hay and you get your loader, because if you're coming up with your loader and then you get right here, you can't see anymore without having to get down like this. Well, you can see through the sunroof as it comes on up. This tractor does have that. And you can cover it up if you want to with this sunshade right here. Here's speakers for the radio. There's a rear view mirror in the cab. Right here is your hazard button, and on the newer M6s, there'll be a button right here that's a brake to neutral button. So if you're going along and you need to stop, you just press the brake and it'll automatically go to neutral. Say you're wrapping a roll of hay, well, when you get through kicking your roll of hay out, you can just let off the brake and the tractor will take off. This tractor don't have that, but the newer M6s do. Right here's your park brake, as you can see there. And they move this park brake, rather than being right beside the seat, they move it out here where you can get to it easier. Out back here is your cabin air filter, the air filter in your cab for your air conditioner. There's the Bluetooth radio, Bluetooth and FM radio. These knobs right here, you can adjust how fast your rear remotes work. You can turn them all the way up or down or wherever you want them. There's a little pocket back here behind the seat, but that's the operator's manual, and then we keep a roll of paper towel in here. There is a little place up in here beside the seat, and they put this little lip on it out here to kind of keep stuff from sliding out, so if you want to put something in there, you can. But overall, I think that's everything in the tractor. I really do like the cab of this tractor. It's big and roomy. You can see there, I can stretch all the way out. I'm about 5'9", maybe 5'10". And I can stretch all the way out without my feet touching the door or glass anywhere. This side is a little tighter because of the loader joystick here, but you can still stretch out there if you want to. Sometimes if I'm in the hayfield, I'll prop my foot up on the brake pedal like that. But as you can see, I can stretch out all the way to the front and I don't even touch the glass. And my arms, my arm is stretched all the way out and it's not even touching the glass, as you can see there. It's barely, but there's plenty of room in this cab. Same way, both ways. Now I'll crank the tractor and I'll show y'all the transmission and how all that shifts and works and everything. Okay, so we got the tractor crank now. Now I'll show y'all how the buttons work that I was telling y'all about. So I'm gonna put it in forward, as you can see here. Got my foot way out there. Now I'm gonna shift. Now I'm in forward. Of course, y'all know, most people know how that works. Now I'm gonna shift up gears. Press the plus button, and as you can see, I'm in 4th medium. I'll push it again, and you hear the beep. That means it shifts. Now I'm in 5 medium. Now I'm in 6 medium, 7 medium, and I can go all the way up to 8 medium just pushing that button. Now I'm gonna just put it in reverse, as you can see here. This tractor, the forward and reverse on this tractor is jerky. Like, when you put it in forward, it goes. Like, it'll spin the back tires if you're in 2-wheel drive. That is about the only thing we don't like about the inside of about that transmission is, and I know it's not just the transmission, but how aggressive that goes. The newer M6s do have another knob over here, or dial, whatever you want to call it, that adjusts the sensitivity on that, kind of like our 4707 is, Massey Ferguson. And you can adjust that with the newer tractors. So I'm glad that Kubota fixed that problem. So now I'm in 7 medium. Even though we're sitting still, I'm going to shift it down. I just pressed the minus button on the armrest. And in order to shift ranges, there's a clutch button right here that you can press and shift your ranges. You don't have to use your clutch at all. You just press the button and shift it. Even moving, like, and it's speed matched too. So as you can see there, I'm going to put it in 8 medium, and I'm going to shift it into forward. Now it's going to take off. Now I'm going to shift into high range using the clutch button. And now I'm going to take off in 2nd high instead of taking off in 1st high. And the reason it does it like that is because if you're going down the road or something and you're moving on in 8th gear, you don't want to shift to high range and it slow you down. You want it to stay, at least stay at the same speed, if not faster. So I like the way that it does that. And you can shift it right here just the same as shifting it on the armrest. As you can see there, now we're in second high, third high, fourth high. And every time you shift it, it beeps, so you know it's shifting. I didn't show y'all this a while ago, which I mean, it's a simple dash. There's your temperature gauge, there's your fuel tank, and then that's your RPM gauge. Now I'll show y'all how the bi-speed turn works. So if y'all can tell there, the four-wheel drive light is on. Now I'm gonna press the bi-speed turn button, and now you see that light's on. So now I don't know how well y'all are gonna be able to tell on camera, but now I'm gonna be going forward, and I'm gonna turn the steering wheel to the right. And I don't know if y'all can tell. Y'all probably can't, but the front end speeds up and it pulls the front of your tractor around. That's the way the bi-speed turn works. It does tend to tear the ground up a little bit sometimes in bi-speed turn, so we generally don't use it in the hayfield, but I have used it moving dirt before where I could turn sharper. The tractor itself turns really sharp without bi-speed turn on, so in the hayfield we can turn as sharp as we can, and without bi-speed turn and turn fine. Right here is part of the dash. Like, I'm gonna press number 1. If you can see, there's numbers here. I'm gonna press number 1, and now that shows. So now it's on miles per hour, as you can see there, which is 0 because we're setting still. And if you press it again, that's average miles per hour, which is 2.97. And I'm guessing that's probably since I cranked the tractor. And now, if you can see here, number 2 is your PTO speed. You can see the number 2 right there. That's your PTO speed. And see, the light's not lit up on it, so number 2 doesn't do anything. Number 3 is your gallons per hour, which is 0.4 gallons per hour. Now it's showing 0.5. And you can press it. Now it's showing your average gallons per hour, and this is, I think this is since the whole life of the tractor, the average is 2 gallons per hour. Which usually cutting hay and baling hay, it usually averages about 2 gallons per hour. And then that's a fuel bar. As you can see, as I give it gas, the line moves up because it's pulling more diesel. And then number 4 is a clock. You can see there it's 5:09 p.m. That's what time it is now. That's the date, 2/12/24, and then back to clock. Just press this. Now you see this side of the screen turn black. Well, now if you press, I'm gonna press number 2, or I'll press number 1. You can see now I just clicked on this one up here. Now I can change it from speed, my miles per hour. Now I can press 3, see the arrow pointing over. Now I can change it to PTO speed. And then there's your A preset, there's your B preset, and then back to miles per hour, which is where I leave it. Now I can press 3, and it'll go to where it says gallons per hour, and then I can change it there. And you can set this to where it'll show you gallons per acre, like how many acres you're doing. You can change it to how many acres you've done since you started, or there's a bunch of stuff you can do with it. We don't ever use it. I'm going to put it back on gallons per hour. Now I'm going to click this again, press 4 where the time is, and now I can change it to temperature. And I don't ever use anything except I have used the power before. You can see where it says power. Now I leave it on power, and as you can see there, 0% power. Now I revved it up, power went up, but I have used that before just to see how much power the hay cutter or baler was pulling on the tractor, which usually runs about 30 to 50% engine load. And now I can change that back too. I'm gonna put it back on clock. And also, I just noticed this. If you see the 663.8 gallons, that's how many gallons this tractor's used in 353 hours. That's how many gallons it's used since then. So you can figure that up, and you can see how many gallons per hour it's averaged the whole life of the tractor. But that's all for all the dash and how that works. And I don't know everything about it, but I just showed y'all what I do know. These here control the dash. Like there's the engine hours. There's the A preset, engine speed. There's B preset. And then this one here is PTO. So you can see there, it's PTO changes from 1 to 2. But overall, I think that's about all on the tractor. Thank y'all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. We'll catch y'all on the next one.